All right, everybody, welcome. We're finally live. Sorry for the long delay. Technical difficulties, computer issues, whatever you want to call it, network problems. I don't know. But I'm glad we made it in here. Late than never, right? um, well, there's a few things we're going to go over. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with our upcoming podcast shows. And each show that we got coming up, each one has a special guest. A lot of you are familiar with the three that I actually have posted recently on my timeline. I actually have a new individual um, scheduled for Sunday evening. And at one point during the podcast, I will try to screen share the promo with the individual. Anyway, Fred, I wanted to start off with you. You've actually had some. You've been out recently, and I have not got to see your videos yet or anything you shared. But I was wondering if you wanted to go ahead and start off and talk about that.
Well, I went to the went out some more turkey hunting, but I ended up squashing anyway. I went to Ball at the foot of Bald Mountain, and I found one photographs of structures that
Oh
was
wow.
in the birthing area alone. In a few videos, explaining whatever. I was hearing odd sounds, going up in there, off my left. Then I'd hear a sound off my right. Listening to the crows. In the morning time, the crows they got their certain call. Like, hey, everybody wake up. But about 20 minutes into it, the crows started going off like a rocket. Like 15 or 20 of them just going off. Sounded like the same as it did when I filmed that group back, 13. So I knew I was being followed or somewhere to that effect. Um, but some of the structures were a little more odd than usual.
Hmm.
I found fresh trees that was totally twisted backwards and
Oh
snapped and
wow.
everything. Yeah. I mean,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, but I got two videos. I was supposed to have three, but I only did two. But I put all the photographs up on the Valley Bigfoot and my Facebook and everything.
Okay.
One guy asked me, he gave, I think it was nincompoop. He
Yeah.
said, he says, you got to do all this stuff. And I'm like, look, dude, I've been doing this since '81, plus I'm an arborist to boot. So before I determine what it is, I look at it, I study it. Then I know the difference. He goes, when you're an arborist, when you're an arborist, you got to learn all that. And especially when you work for like Aspen, worldwide known, and you got to take a class. You got to get certified to work for that company. Because you're working around the highways, working around power lines. I mean, I've even been up through the power line towers. Or the lines
Yeah.
itself. So you have to be good at what you do,
Oh yeah.
and and I'm good at what I do. Not saying I'm the best, but I'm good at it.
Now, when you said he was questioning you, but you have to do all this stuff. Now, what were you referring to? How you like what you were just saying? Examining the structure, like the break and the fibers and all that. Is that what he was referring to? As far as
No,
when
he
you
was
said when he said,
no, he was referring to you gotta use fancy words. Like when I had Jeff Kelly and them ride my ass. The
right,
scientific way you got to have is you got to have a well. Bottom line, you ain't got to have a damn thing but a camcorder recorder. That's all you need.
right.
You all fancy stuff.
Hmm.
And doing this, you know, I'm used to it. I know, I can tell when they're around me. I can tell by their structures by looking at them how long they've been there.
Right.
That's something people don't. That's something people really don't understand. You've been in there. Everybody says, "Well, who teaches you Bigfoot?" They do themselves. I don't see them. Do sometimes don't. But like I said, they leave the information there. You know, people really don't understand what Bigfoot really. They say, well, you just go out in the woods, you look for him. Actually, you do not look for him. He will. You don't
Right.
find him. He will find you. So that's when I go out in the woods, you know, and there, just be yourself. You know, it's just a walk. Just look, examine, study it, touch it, feel it. Put yourself in his shoes or in his feet,
Yeah.
and think
Yeah.
about it. It's so simple, you know. People I take out, you know, they'll pick up quick, you know, like I took Beth out, you know,
Right.
and I started showing her structures, you know, and she come up with some damn good questions. I don't get that very often, you know. Most people say, well, I don't know, you know, it's kind of this, you know, but
Yeah. Now we've been kind of talking about that the last couple of days as far as this past camp out. Yeah. Like, well, could you recall like what specific or what kind of questions that she was asking?
let's see if I remember. One was like, you got, she said, you know, you got some structures here, you know, that look good, but you think about nature, you know, basically, I just do it a roundabout way, you know, about nature and everything, you know,
Right.
but you can tell if it's nature or you can tell if it's not. When she said that, because once I showed her that one structure, it's right there on the side of the trail going in there, she took off Mary. I mean, she started asking me questions. You don't find that very often, you know, because she was picking
Oh
up
yeah.
on things that I was overlooking. She was seeing them and telling me about them, and everything. You know, that's something people need to do when they go out with their research with me, you, um, Clipper Rockman, you know, Stacy Brown, you know, all sorts of people like that. You know, listen to us.
Right.
We're saying you do that, you will learn by looking
Yep.
at what they're doing, how they're doing it, and that will teach you. It's simple, man. God.
Yeah. I mean, like I've tell people, in my videos and stuff that I post. In order to learn, you need experience. In order to get experience, you need time. In order to, and with time, you need to dedicate. If you get the time, you need to dedicate your time. If this is something you want to
Yeah.
learn and educate others like we like doing, you got to dedicate yourself to it. And and that's one way. We find ways to dedicate ourselves to it. Uh,
But you know, like
Fred,
I
is
said,
your audio plugged in? I'm actually hearing myself. I'm getting feedback.
no, I had to cover my mouth, man. I'm sitting cover the mic. I'm sitting there eating corn chips.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was getting feedback. I'm all right now, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Whenever I put my hand over my mic, it'll cause you to feedback and everything.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah, you know.
okay. Yeah, but like I tell people, like basically, it's basically what you say. But yeah, people need experience. Experience in the field. A lot of people could do what we do right now. We could sit behind a computer like we're doing now, and browse through and research different scientific sites, whatever different websites, and check out the different Facebook forums, and
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with it because I learned from that. But there's a different kind of education
yeah,
out in the field. You're not going to learn
yeah. Now,
behind a computer. So, so,
I
but
don't, I don't have, you know, have the patience to sit down and read an article or something like that.
right.
You know, everything I've learned out in the woods. So, like, ever since I was a kid, I only went to ninth grade, but I've learned in the field because I was always told, I'm going to learn questions.
Yeah.
Question, you will learn. Now, there are some people are scared to leave the camp, you know, but that's perfectly natural too, you know.
If
But the
she's
thing is,
watching,
you
she's
know,
probably laughing.
yeah, but actually, you know, I years, in my spot, a lot of times you don't even have to leave the camp. They come right by
Right.
our camp because I'm feeding it, it's in the feeding area,
Yeah.
We do nights, they come early or late Saturday, but at least they come through, We had rocks thrown at the tent, you know, because of all them rocks I found. I heard splashing in the water, heard 3 steps, splash, splash, splash. You know, you, you've seen ice shine and stuff like that. So I mean, it's good to get out, but you can learn more if you just sit, listen to how they the chattering, how they do the whoop, how they do the tree knocks, stuff like that,
Right.
And people will
Oh
start to
yeah.
learn. But they got to get out in the woods, they got to get with somebody who is a researcher and ask questions. That's the only way. That's the only way you're gonna learn is to ask questions, and I like that.
Oh yeah. I like it too. And sometimes I get hit with questions that I don't know answers to. And sometimes in these situations, depending on the question, if it's something I don't know or I'm not familiar with, I mean, I will give my best explanation to the best of my knowledge with the answer, that I don't know. I will, research the question and try to pick up the information or find the answer, and I'll get back to the person about it. Or, like I've done before, I'll study it, and if it's, depending on the topic or whatever it is, I'll actually share the information on it on a podcast. That way, it gives everybody a chance to understand it. Now, because there's, a lot of people don't understand, the topics that we do discuss and go over continuously. There's quite a bit that we go over,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I kind of like how we talk about a lot of certain things, and then we'll come back to them at a later date and we discuss them again because sometimes there's something new that we learned about them because something that we might have explained as far as something that we might have tried to educate people on certain things, we might have found something that you know educates further that might either change or alter what we told before, or more or less an update on that specific topic. And that's what I
Right,
like doing.
right, 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 right. Yeah, that's
So
true.
yeah, hold on. I don't know if Ryan's messaged me. Yeah, hold on. Uh, Ryan, if somebody's whoever's watching, could you tell Ryan reading that the link is on my timeline? But yes, it's on YouTube, Ryan. He should know this. Um, on my timeline. Okay. Yeah, I want to ask you, Fred. Did you get a chance to actually look up any of those YouTube links I shared to you earlier concerning Mr. Brian Forrester?
I was bouncing between the internet and my Jeep. I was trying to do 2 things at one time. Although I go out work on a little bit, come back in here and look at the computer again, and everything, then go back out and everything, like that. I'm gonna get to them later on tonight. I
Okay.
have.
I think you'll find different links I shared. Link chat group. If you go back, there's actually a newer one that I shared, and
Yeah.
it yeah, it's actually awesome. It's got some really good information on it, and it talks about what we're going to be talking about with him Friday night.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
I'll, yeah, I'll try to.
give
Oh,
me a
go
little.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Give me a little rundown. He's a what, cryptozoologist?
Not well. He's a scientist and archaeologist. Um, tell you what, I
Okay,
want
an
to save
archaeo.
all that good info. Actually, I'll share that. I'll go ahead and I'll share the information uh, with you offline because I don't want to.
Okay.
A lot of people know him. He's been on other shows and radio shows. He's actually been on a Skype show, and that's something I want to tell Ryan about. There is a Skype program or show that you could do. I'm going to actually investigate into that. I know everyone's talking about trying to do Skype, so I'm going to look into that. Brian
Yeah.
says I may be able to. He can't figure it out. He says I may be able to figure it out since I'm familiar with how the system works. But I'll look into it. I was going to do that earlier, but I was trying to upload stuff and it wasn't working. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'll give you like a series of links. Definitely check them out. They are, I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, really good stuff. He
okay,
actually,
because I do know there's that one like you shared with you about the uh, it's supposed to be coming, or you threw a link up. I seen that show about 4 years ago.
all right, wait, which one was
Uh,
you were breaking up when you were saying that?
the uh, the link with the um, one with the oblong heads, you know.
Oh yeah, 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 elongated skulls. Yeah. Um,
And I seen that a few years ago.
there's one. There's a link to one of the podcasts. Well, not the pod. It's not a podcast. It was a um on YouTube for Brian Forrester on his YouTube page. Um, there's one video of it's called Open Mind Conference. It's 2013.
Yeah.
That was actually I was listening to what he was saying and I was like getting excited hearing what he was saying. And just that alone, uh, like I said, it was kind of blowing my mind. I said, "Really? Wow! I can't wait to hear these DNA results." So, I mean, from the studies and everything they've done, saying how what they have could actually change or rewrite the history of humanity about our
Well,
origins.
well, yeah. Well, mostly they got that one. It's that name is going to say it's Homo coccus or something like that, or some kind of funky name to give it. They said
Yeah, I know what you're talking.
they say they know what it is. I mean, they know they give it a
Hmm.
name, but they still don't know what it is. They say it is officially got an official name now, but they don't know what it is.
Yeah, I
They,
know what you're referring to. But yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of information. I've taken a lot of notes for the this discussion of the show. I know he's going to be sharing some awesome stuff with us. And one of the things for viewers when you watch Friday Night, expect. Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what to expect, but we are going to talk about DNA results for these elongated skulls. And I'm going to post some pictures. I'm going to share them uh, while we're doing the live podcast too, and I'm going to share them with all of you guys. I'm going to share them to you privately as well, so you guys could examine, look at them, how there's a comparison. One of them is you got the human skull, you got the elongated skull that was formed by deformation, that was not deformed, that it was natural. That
Yeah,
was like that.
like the crystal skulls.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what it is. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to share.
They've only
With
yeah they've only found three of the skulls so far.
right.
They haven't found the rest of them yet. So once they find
Hmm.
all seven skulls and get them set up in that one, get them set up at a round is what they call a round table. Then we will
Yeah.
find all the answers, supposedly.
Yeah. Yeah, because another thing about Brian Forrester, and I'm sure I'll repeat a lot of this little information I've shared. He's actually been on. He's part of the Ancient Aliens. Ancient Aliens and the ancient civilization from all these different civilizations, these different cultures from the Incas. He speaks a lot on the Incas.
Inca,
Uh, you know,
Maya,
yeah, and
Aztecs.
yeah, right. And as far as locations, you got Peru, Parascus, and we're going to get into all that good stuff here. It's awesome, information as far as what they're doing. Because I will say one more thing about him. Like I said, I don't want to say too much right now, but they're actually doing independent study and research on these elongated skulls with no funding. Well, they're actually seeking funding for this because they are doing it independently. Um, they do not want no involved. They do not want the government involved. Um, because for one thing, the government. One thing they stated about government, if I'm saying this correctly, is they want complete acknowledgement. They don't, they don't want no interruptions. They don't want no one stopping them from what they're doing. As long as they're doing this independently, they are, free, free to go about doing this. As far as any kind of testing DNA, they have, on a hush, more or less. But yet there is a research program that they're doing independently, and they are seeking funds, and all the information I'm going to try to share with websites and links and everything. I'll be screen sharing a lot of the information with the photos and everything. So, um, but with that being said, I wanted to give a special shout out and a thank you to the Carolina Cryptid Crew. Uh, we will, like I said, this week I had to reschedule them because they have internet issues this week. And Melissa George and Carrie George, those two young ladies will be joining us hopefully next week. Next week, they will contact me on rescheduling the show that I will be having them on. They are part of the Carolina Cryptid Crew. And I want to thank Melissa George personally. Books right here. I did get these. They came in today. Got Sasquatch, The Native Truth, and we got Bigfoot Chronicles, legend known as Bigfoot. And I want to thank you very much for these donations. This is awesome. It's great to receive these. I'm going to actually get into looking at these and tell you what. One thing I wanted to, a few words I wanted to read off the back of, hold on, where's it at? I started in one of them. Sasquatch, The Native Truth. Something everybody's got to keep in mind right here. And this goes to everybody, non-believer and real. Like I said, these three little phrases right here. They are real, they are out there, and they are watching you. And I'm going to tell you, I believe Fred will say that's the truth because I'm saying it is too. So I can't wait to read the books further. They look like really great books, and the books are actually based on true and real evidence and encounters. And for those who I don't know if you guys can see this right here through the podcast, but this is a cover photo of this one. This is actually a real finding that they use that the Cryptid Crew, Carolina Cryptid Crew, use this structure of their evidence to use as the cover of their book. Awesome. Uh, that's a lot cooler than the one I have on my timeline photo from the one I just found. So, but yeah, that is awesome. So I definitely want to say thank you again for that, Melissa, and I'm looking forward to reading these books and add them to my Bigfoot library. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, you saw my post in the other chat earlier how I stated no more discussions on uh
Yeah,
the
we know.
government, yeah, the government following and everything like that. Um,
Um,
yeah, because I was
uh,
the
I
only reason I brought that up because I got to thinking after everything that was said to me and shared to me, and I actually deleted that podcast that we had the discussion on.
well, I was sent a link today, and I watched it or
Okay.
listened to it, and it reminded me of 5 years ago of that exact same story, and it had to do. It went from a game warden,
Hmm.
EA, to the government.
Now you're referring to the story here in Virginia, down
No,
in.
no,
Oh, this
no,
was you personally.
no. This was the story I heard from the guy who it had. The guy that I heard today was the exact same guy that I heard a couple years ago. He
Hmm.
he said he told everybody what happened. He told the game warden. Game warden come up.
Hmm.
He started telling. Game warden tore the paper up. Got pissed off. Blah 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 blah. Come find out, the guy shot a Bigfoot.
Tom, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know that story. Yep,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
exactly.
Now,
Yep.
yeah. and then you put that, with that story, then you put the campsite in California where they went into it. They seen some people running out from the camp. They went into camp. It was totally destroyed. They come back
Hmm.
next day. It looked like nothing was there.
Wow.
You know, so basically, there is involvement to a point.
Now,
Like, and Sunday saw it,
wait,
and
say that again. Say that part again. You broke up on that.
when we was leaving, I saw him.
Oh yeah, because you said about the vehicle. Yeah.
I happened to notice the license plate, and it's the exact same ones that they use in D.C. around the White House and through the government. So,
Hmm.
but the thing about it is, th- um, basically all they're doing is keep an eye on you, and when they're gonna roll in on you. That's what I
Well,
that's what I see what's gonna happen. So yeah, that's a good point. Deleting what you did, and not really talking about it no more, because yeah, they're between me, you and Ryan, and everybody, there's a lot of stuff, that's going down that we're not supposed to really know about, but unfortunately we do, so
yeah. Well, a part of what I'll try to explain because I'm not going to reveal no names on who who messaged me and the comments I saw on YouTube. Well, part of it, when we, if somebody believes that's what's happening, you know, regardless of who if others believe it or not, the story behind it, or the way it looks when we're talking about, first of all, it's making us look like paranoid individuals. Um, and what I'm speaking on is basically what was referred to me, and I got to thinking, and it makes a lot of sense. So that's why I'm going to try to explain it from what was sent to me today. And you know, you know, the government, or whatever, I'm sure they're capable of anything and a lot of things, but the thing is, we can't go out in the woods being paranoid. We gotta go out just doing our own thing. Yeah, some of us advertise on our vehicles what we do. Like I do. I have my decals, and they do get a lot of attention. And it excites some people, and some people mock it. But hey, that's the name of the game. That's how it rolls. Things happen here in this community. But the thing is, you know, I've had game wardens see my vehicle, and I'm not just talking about you know on the coal roads, but others out around my area. That the game wardens and different police officers, I know they've all seen it. You know, um, you know, I'm sure there's different government officials all over the place.
yeah,
I mean, I don't feel paranoid. I don't feel like someone's following me or anything. But the
well,
thing is, I think even if they are, just we got to go about our own business. The other thing is we shouldn't like we were saying we shouldn't discuss it openly. I mean, off air, I think that's fine. It's just the thing is when we talking like we feel like the government's doing this to us, they're or they're interfering with this. You know, we can't make those calls. We can't make those judgments. Um, and then, like I said, it all goes back to paranoia.
yeah,
And it
well,
makes
me,
us it makes us look kind of like, I don't
yeah,
know, not just paranoid, but
yeah,
and people not going to take us seriously in what we're doing because we're
yeah,
talking
well,
about, okay, well, little things like that.
yeah,
If that
well,
makes any bit of sense, though, I mean,
me personally, I don't care. Everybody in my area knows who I am.
right,
Some of them think,
right,
some people know, some people say I'm doing nutty as a fruitcake, and some people believe what I'm doing is real. But as
right,
far as the government goes, I really don't care if you follow me or not. They can probably watch me through satellite. I don't give a crap, because to me, if I'm out there, it's going to have to come person if they can find me. That's I don't care who knows what I do. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
out. I had something happen to me that blew my out of the water, and
Yeah.
it's obsession, if you want to call it that, like coyote hunt. Coyote hunting is an obsession to me. So the way I see
Yeah.
it, I mean, a lot of people do get schizophrenic, get paranoid and shit. But me, I really don't care, because I'm out there doing something.
Right.
Oh, you're looking for Bigfoot. You're a Bigfoot hunter. No, I'm not a hunter. I am a researcher. And
Correct people on that too.
yeah, yeah, they they say, oh, you look for them. No, I don't look for them. I go out. I act natural. They find me. That's all I want. If they want to follow me, fine. If they want me to see them, fine. I can't. Everybody's taking me. Well, I want to see a Sasquatch. That's what. But I'm not guaranteeing. No, well, they're not there. Then I said, look, you cannot go out and say, hey, I will show you a Squatch 100%. You cannot do that. I tell people, go out of the woods, be yourself. If they want to check you out, they will let you know.
Yeah.
It's common sense.
Um. Yeah. Let me say real quick because Ryan's watching and he's on the live chat and he wants to know who's talking about it, who's saying to shut up, be quiet about it. Well, it's knowing the worry or be concerned about. They're actually some good friends of mine and they're in the Bigfoot community. But these actually local people. Fred might even know one of them. I don't know. They actually one of them lives out there in my research area. Well, going through it anyway, getting to it. But the other ones were actually other YouTube users. Out of respect, that's why I'm not mentioning no names. They weren't attacking or trying to but yeah, at the same time they were trying to admonish, and like they brought up good points and so that and I understood very clearly and they're only looking out for us as because I will tell you one thing and I'll actually share some information here um because they know what we do. They actually follow us. They follow. As far as when I say they follow us, they follow our research and work. There's these individuals. They know of you, Fred, very well, and they speak highly of both you and me. And the thing is, we want people to take us seriously. And the thing is, that's why they're looking out for us. They want us to be careful how we discuss and present stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even though we have no intentions of trying to, talk, and you make us sound like we're wackos or out of the world. We do speak openly, but at the same time, these certain topics we got to watch out, and I feel like I understand and it makes sense to me. I mean, because that's the government is real, but at the same time, it almost puts you in the category of the woo, if that makes any sense. Because it it's
What the hell is the woo?
all the stuff that people talk about portals and uh portal the portals. What's the other one? Cloaking. The mind
Bull.
speak and all. That's all the woo combined. Yeah.
Oh, bullshit. Bullshit, more or less. That's
Yeah.
what I call it.
Right. Well, yeah, but yeah, people are calling the woo. I didn't know what the woo was
Uh,
either. Not till like a week or two ago. I was like, what are they referring to as the woo?
yeah,
So yeah, but that's what they're calling it these days, the woo. So, so everyone
just a
refers to it as a
fancy,
woo. But I
just a
think
fancy word.
yeah, I think everyone, oh, I think that we kind of throw part of the paranoia of certain officials maybe watching us and stuff in the woods. And and I thought because Ryan had asked the other day when we were on the podcast, he's like, or maybe it was Lael felt followed in the woods. Now, when I heard that question, I was thinking, okay, I was thinking Bigfoot. I wasn't thinking about people, And I was like, yeah, because it didn't dawn on me at first till after I answered the question. Because I was like, yeah, of course, I've answered. You know, I've heard movement that was walking with me beside me up to a certain point, and you know, and on the most part, I'm usually pretty well aware of my surroundings, and I'm pretty good at hearing it. You know, even elusive, stealthy animals could only be so quiet when they're that close. You know, um, and for the
Yeah.
record, Sasquatch is not always stealthy, if especially at night, because you know what, if you don't see them, I'm going to tell you, you will hear them. There's no denying that when you hear the sound of a very large subject bipedal flat-footed walking away from you, there's there's no denying what that is. So
Hint,
um,
hint.
exactly.
I mean, I mean, I know the sound of the wildlife when there's a squatch around,
Yeah.
but also think woods. What's the first thing you hear
Wait, when you go what now? I couldn't hear you. Broke.
when you go in the woods? Say, like
Uh,
example, you're going squirrel hunting. What's the
okay.
first thing you What's the first thing you hear?
Well, let's just say when I'm out there, well, deer hunting, I usually hear the crashing of the leaves. You hear, you know, sometimes squirrels. You hear them. I'm thinking it might be deer because sometimes squirrels can be a little loud. Or either that
Okay,
you hear the chatter, or sometimes you hear squirrel chatter sometimes.
okay.
But
Now, here's what you hear. When you walk in the woods, you're gonna hear dead silence. Now, if you're the only one in there after 5 minutes,
yeah,
the squirrels will start to go normal again. But
ah,
if there's something that's not supposed to be there, now when a squatch comes around, the squirrels will gut run in their holes and they'll stay. They will not come out when squatches are around. But if you're being followed, the
right.
squirrels will listen to the barks. There's a certain bark they make. It's called a warning bark. When you hear
Okay,
that,
yeah.
when you hear that, follow the sound of that squirrel. Look which way that squirrel's point. Give you that would tell you something's over there, and it's not a squatch.
Mm. Hmm.
The alarm
Uh,
systems of the woods. They will tell you squatch is there. They will tell you if someone.
uh,
It's
Steve
simple.
just brought up a good. Steve brought up, when you were asking about a sound, what would you hear? He actually he said birds. So, but
Yeah, birds. Yeah, but a squirrel will give but a squirrel will give your location away.
mhm.
I
Well, what
mean,
about like kind of like a crow though? Crows are known for they start going crazy when there's something in an area. They basically they're tattletales more or less.
yeah, because a crow and a raven are intelligently smart. You know, it's like a squirrel. You could set up an obstacle course to get one nut. Get to
Yeah.
that nut the easy way. After that, he figures it out. He will go through the whole obstacle course. He's very intelligent. But
Mhm. Oh yeah.
I've noticed with crows, when a squatch is in the air, they go ballistic. But
Hmm.
when you go in there and you make a crow sound, you just sit there. If you watch, one crow will fly right over top of you, not saying a word, just like he's stealth mode.
Hmm.
Then he'll go back to his tribe, and all of a sudden you have about 30 of them suckers coming flying your way. You know, they're another alarm system. So the animals, I mean, you go in there long enough, like in your area, you've been there long enough, the critters know who you are. They know you're
Yeah.
are just doing that. Same way in my area. So they know when you're in there, and they know exactly what's in there. But if it's not a squatch in there, if there's a squatch in there, they're gonna run to their hole. You ain't gonna hear nothing out of them. But if
Yeah.
it's someone else in there with you, listen to which way the bark is coming from, find that squirrel, and look at which way he's pointing. That's another way how to tell if someone else is in the woods with you. I've learned that myself.
Yeah. We had a question on the live chat. It came from a couple comments ago, and I meant to ask you because he was actually asking me, but I said no, but I'll ask you. Um, it says, Daniel, have you ever heard of the Dennis Martin case disappearance in 1964 in Spencefield, where they brought troops in afterwards? I can't say I'm familiar with that one. Maybe I have heard of it. It's not really ringing a bell or anything.
Yeah, I've heard something about it years and years ago, but I can't remember exactly what it was. I mean, I know
Yeah.
the National Guard was called in. I do know that, but I don't know anything past that part.
Right. Hmm. Um. Let me see. Okay. There was something else I was gonna bring up, but I forgot. I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh, I do want to say because we got viewers watching, and I just saw a couple more pop up. Um, for any reason, whether if it's anything that we discuss or are talking about, or something that we're not talking about, if you have anything you want to ask a question of, now questions. So start spilling the beans. I'm watching the live chat. Live chat is right there below where you're watching us. So if you got Bigfoot questions or something you're curious about, hey, it might be something that we have experience with. And if we have experience with something that we observed, then hey, we might be able to shed some light on the subject for you. So me and Fred are here.
Yeah.
We love questions. So I'm watching the live chat.
Yeah.
So
Back there in the back today, I was videoing the clearing that they have,
right,
and and now you remember when I had y'all up there, you walked kind of like halfway up that ridge and you stopped.
right,
Okay, well
yeah,
I found a trail. It's about 4.5 foot wide, but it's still got brush across it. I went up there and I found a tree it's about a 45 foot high tree, but it was snapped and twisted at 16 feet.
hmm,
And I'm like, okay, the biggest one in here is 11 foot. So that means the tree was about big around as a medicine ball. No, I take it back,
right.
a basketball. There we go. And
That's a pretty big tree. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, well, when I took you in there, I said, look at that tree. It's shaped like a corner of a box. And right below it, you had the X in the brush as a hiding spot. Okay, well,
right,
I
yeah,
right up behind there, but to the left is where I found it at. And it was
okay,
no more, than a day or two old because it was still dripping sap out of it like a water
hmm,
faucet. Yeah, I did. I think it was chattering. I'm not really quite sure, because I had a few squirrels raising hell out there. They were raising hell about something. I don't know, man. But right on the back side of that ridge, that's where I was hearing shit.
hmm,
And if you watch the video, you hear me say, I don't, I would go back there, but if I did, because, into that area, I mean, I go past that X and I go past that tree, and I start walking up in the ridge, I'm trespassing into their bedroom. And if I go up in there, that's going to spook them away, and they're going to leave that area.
right,
So when I go in, when you go into an area, man, you start seeing a ton of, like, if you just look at them photos that I took today, and you listen to the video, you'll see that it's like going into someone's house, man. You got to respect what they do.
right,
So when you go in the woods, you got to respect the Squatch because you you're going into their house, and you've got to learn to respect them. Because if you don't respect them, they're going to leave, or they're going to
oh
get
yeah,
or they're going to get angry, and they're going to do something that they're not supposed to do.
right,
You know. So that's why when I go in, by myself, I'm usually quiet. I listen to nature. I listen to this or listen to that. I look at the ground. I look at the trees. I study everything
Oh yeah.
if they're around or not. And besides, I talked to a couple of guys this morning while I was out there, and they say, "Oh, you seen Jeep? You're the Bigfoot hunter." I said, "No, I'm a Bigfoot researcher." Oh, okay. Then they started telling me about some experiences they had back there, or at the very, very back of it. See, when you go to the back, it kind of it's like a horseshoe with a point in it,
Mm,
and the right side of it is like rocks. Then the left side of it is nothing but thickets.
right.
Now, I can guarantee you, we go up there again and we hear something. I'll take you up on the
Hmm.
about half. I'll take you at the top of that little knoll at the end of it, and we'll look across with binoculars. I guarantee you'll see at least
Mm.
one or two of them looking at you because I've seen all last summer I've seen five of them total looking at me. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. I tell you, there's one area in your research area that you had taken me into, and I definitely want to get back in there and maybe do some scouting around. Maybe we'll get something to yell at us again or make some vocalizations real close to us. And you know what I'm referring to, right? In your
mm,
area,
I got quite a
the
few
birthing
spots.
area.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
There's another place
that area.
there's another place I'm gonna
Even
take you to.
yeah, even without hearing what we did that day, I mean, shoot, I still the area that something about that area. I just kind of felt like because it was so thick, and I could see like when you go further back in there after you cross the creek and everything. So
Yep.
just looking around, you go like, man, they could be hiding right here. I mean, there's plenty of places to blend in, and I know how thick it is in the woods now because everything's grown out. I mean, it's awesome right there, So I'd like to see if it draws in any other activity, So, but
Well,
yeah, I'm
well,
anxious to know what's going to happen in my area. I've had some awesome action last year. I'm hoping for something great this year, maybe better, maybe even see something. That's all we could hope for. Something that will give us, you know, like I don't know, that hardcore evidence, even if it's not taken seriously by mainstream science. You know, I don't know. All we could do is try. But then with that being said, I don't know if I would even try to convince science. I mean, they could take it or leave it. I mean, because whatever I do share, I mean, regardless of who believes it, it's real. It's gonna be real. It always is real when I share it. But the thing is, you know, we can't convince everybody. It's I don't even see no point in trying to convince people. I share very openly on my timeline. I share, I got a lot of non-believers. But at the same time, I got if they're not a believer or knower, there are people that are curious and wanting to know about the subject. I got family, that I'm surprised they haven't questioned me or called me a wacko over the whole subject, but they know I take this seriously, and it's what I do. A lot of people think this is my job. It's not a job. Dedicate myself to it, and
it's an
it's like an
adventure.
obligation, like a job. Yeah,
It's an
it's an
adventure.
educational adventure. It's an educational adventure. Yes,
Exactly. Right.
it's an
Exactly.
adventure that we all learn from, and we shared what we learned. So it's amazing. Let's see. Let me see. Steve Peck commented on the live chat. Let's see what he says. Steve says, when you hunt and harvest an animal, do you gut it in the woods and then come back and check for tracks or any other good one? That's a good question. Um,
I got my I got mine. I cleaned mine in the woods, and I'm doing.
mhm.
I still do the same thing on them in there. Even though I shoot a deer, gut him and drag him out, I'm still looking, going in and going out. Because even though I'm hunting, I'm still squatching. Bottom line.
Yeah. You know what? That's actually kind of brings up a good idea, and I'm sure, and I know people have done this. They've done it on Finding Bigfoot, but hey, they're gonna leave the audience in suspense. And when they dumped a bunch of guts and had a trail camera on it. Well, how convenient did the trail? At the end of the show, the trail camera malfunctioned, and so it's inconclusive, like they always say, because what, they're either not getting nothing but want to leave this audience in suspense, or they're getting something and they're withholding the information publicly. I mean, that's the BFRO for you. But but now, what I'm saying is, I think that'd be a good idea for us to try that. Is some guts and set a trail camera at it. Yeah, it was gonna bring in bears and coyote most likely, and other scavenger birds, but
All right.
but it's
Well,
worth a try for.
here's a question,
Okay.
and this is for everybody, the audience, even our panel. See how smart you
Yep.
guys are.
Yeah, we got a lot of viewers right now. So viewers, listen up.
Okay.
Fred's gonna ask a question. So I want to see you on the live chat. So all right, go ahead, Fred.
Okay. Do you think that squatches only eat what they kill, or do you think they are a scavenger,
Mm.
like the T Rex,
Well,
like
I'll
back
go
in
ahead and
the?
start on this one. Well,
Okay. All right. Go
well,
ahead.
okay. This is funny. Actually, I shared some information on this before on my honest opinion on this. I believe they are both. I mean, they do eat what they kill. Now they also, I believe, they are a scavenger for leftovers. Of another. Um. So
All right.
yep.
Now, I do know.
Live chat.
Now, all right.
We
I
got
do
some
know.
comments coming up on the live chat.
Okay.
So
Now, before you go to that, I'll tell you this one thing.
yeah.
On one episode of Finding Bigfoot, they talked to a guy who was a tow truck driver. He went to a wreck in the snow. Somebody had hit a bull elk. When the guy got everything ready and got ready to pull away, he turned around and looked toward the back of the car where that elk was laying. He saw a squash come off that ridge, that elk by the horns, and drag him across the road and down it. So we know
Yeah.
that would be considered roadkill. All right, yeah, scavenging. But my question is, do you think they will see like a dead coon or dead deer or something that's been laying there for about a week or so? Do you think they would scavenge it, or do you think they would ignore it,
Now,
knowing knowing how intelligent these creatures are?
wait. So again, you were saying if they found it on the road.
All right. When that guy said he saw that squatch, he said the elk wasn't dead no more than an hour. Okay,
Okay.
he come off the ridge, he grabbed it, and he hauled ass with it. Okay, all right, that's considered roadkill, but that's fresh. Well, I'm speaking of anything that's been laying like a week or more. That's my question. 7 days, just say that much.
Well, by that time, I'm gonna be honest. My opinion on that. By that time, there's gases in the body that is actually formed. The gases that yeah. There's like turkey buzzards and stuff. They'll eat that. They'll tear that up. It's just their stomachs are designed for that. I think that's kind of iffy on a squash, but my honest opinion is I don't think they would touch that if it's if the body's gone through bloat and the gases developed and toxins developed. I don't think they're going to touch it because it's too impure. It's not clean for them.
Okay, that's a good
That's
answer.
my
But
that's my honest opinion. But
right now, I want to hear the audience's uh, answers. I want to hear the panel's answer too.
well, me and you are the panel tonight.
Now I'm talking about the listeners, about the ones that
Okay.
are listening.
Yeah, they several of them all at once responded to the other question as far as your question about are they scavengers or do they eat leftovers or what? Um,
Right.
Pokey said yes. Michael Price said scavenger. Ryan said no scavenger. First Ryan said no, we don't know. No, actually, I think he said no. He said that afterwards. But yeah, he said no scavenger. Nick and Poop said opportunist, and Pokey said opportunist again, and then Flame Dancer said both. Rodney said, fresh and dead. Then Ryan said, we don't know. It's opinion. He said, they're all opinions. Which, well, he's right. Yeah, you're right in a sense, Ryan. But I think who would not accept a free meal? I mean, if somebody's hungry enough, I think they will go after a free meal. I think that's a situation. Look at us, turkey buzzard, man. When you got a dead deer or an animal on the road, man, there was just a dead deer 2 weeks ago. Yeah, somebody hit it on that forest road, right there on the corner of the road. That deer was gone within 3 days because those turkey buzzards stayed on it every day, all day. And but I know maybe turkey buzzards, whatever, vulture birds, whatever. Maybe they're not a good illustration or good example to use to throw at that. But I think it is safe to say that they would jump on a free meal if it's fresh enough. If it's dead and a squatch is not stupid. They're gonna know if it's been there for a while. So
Right.
you know,
Do you do, do you know do you know what a turkey buzzard's defense is?
there's they give off some kind of smell. I think
No, no, they puke on their feet.
puke. That's what it. Okay, yeah, yeah. I remember you telling me that before.
Yeah, me and my brother walked up on a deer kill, and there was some turkey buzzards there, and to get us away from them, they puke, and the smell of their puke makes you sick.
Mm, interesting.
Look,
Yeah,
it's a little tidbit, little
yeah.
tidbit.
Huh. Oh yeah, and to finish responding to the answers, Lael said both. Steve said they will eat anything they find. So yeah, I forgot about them because they messaged through the Facebook chat and it popped up on my screen. I forgot to respond to that. So that was a good one. Do you have any other questions for us to get into? I think the audience likes that.
Okay. How, if hypothetical reason, hypothetical situation, you're
Hmm.
you're in the woods, you and your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whichever case may be, and y'all hear something. It scares you. What do you listen for? What's the first thing you listen for?
Well, that could be a couple different things. If I was
Is
in
it
that situation, if I was in that situation, which I kind of have been. Now, lately, I like there's other or before I say there's others in the Bigfoot community when they're out in the field, they have been going out protected. They carry a sidearm. Lately, I have been doing the same thing. No, I am not out there to kill a Bigfoot, but I also know what else is in my area, and I know the predators that uh, work that area. Now, with that being said, lately, when I have actually been experiencing movement, which it sounds like it could be a possible predator, I'll become a little bit more open, more alert, more cautious. So I get to the point where I start focusing in the direction of where that is, and make sure I'm in a position where I can't be cornered. And at the same time, especially if it's a night, I'll give you the night scenario. When I was at my camp one night and I heard something right behind the camp, right in the tree line. First thing I did was turn my headlamp on, face that direction, hand on my side, getting ready to draw my sidearm. But yeah, but the thing is, I listen for further movement. I listen for any sign of aggression. Um, these are things I do. I mean, I kind of like I said, listen for further movement. Is it going to come towards me? Is it going to try to intimidate me? Is it going to growl at me? Give me some kind of sign of intimidation or a sign that it may possibly attack. I look for these signs, but at the same time, I'm also taking caution on my part with even if I did not have a sidearm, if I'm nearby my vehicle, I might get ready. I might get closer to my vehicle where I'm more protected. So that's what I do. Viewers, I know you just heard that same question. So how about Fred, ask that question one more time for the viewers if they want to share their opinion or what they would do in that situation.
Okay, you and your girlfriend or you and your boyfriend, a little stroll. You feel like you're being followed. What's the first thing you listen for?
Hmm. All right. So meanwhile, I'm gonna watch the live chat here. Well, Steve actually already responded to that. Steve said, he said, I want to know which direction the noise came from. He said, I don't want to be scared into an ambush. That makes a lot of sense.
Proud of you, Steve. That mountain's coming out in you, boy.
Let's see. Let me see. Hold on. Layla actually responded, but I have to go find her comment here because it's on Facebook. I have to leave the live chat for a second to see what she said. uh, for some reason, she cannot find the live chat. I don't know why she can't find the live chat, so she's actually messaging. I don't know. All she said was axe murder. but Layla, he wants to know how would you respond or what would you listen for and how
What's
would
the
you handle
first
the situation?
right? What's the
Yeah, what's the
first
first
thing
thing you would?
you listen for?
But her response was axe murder. I don't know if maybe she didn't hear the question right. um, so let's go back to the live chat. So live chat, feel free to respond to this one, and then that's a pretty interesting question because these are things you got to think about too, especially when you're out in the woods, day or night, or especially being alone. Um,
Yeah, when you go
let's see.
squatching, when you go, I actually safety part of it is when you go squashing, you got to make sure you have a partner if you're not experienced enough. Now, me, I'm experienced enough, that I know what to expect when I go out in the woods.
Yeah,
But if you're out on a say like a Sunday walk or something, have something with you, carry a stick with you. Have to, anything that makes you feel comfortable. But I would not recommend going out by yourself in the woods if you're not experienced on anything in
now
the woods.
Now, on this here, Nincompoop actually responded. I like what they say, and this makes a lot of sense. As far as this is what they would listen for, they would listen to see how it would affect other critters.
Okay.
Like
All right.
which that makes sense. Just like are the animals becoming dead silent? Like is there because that's a sign of there's a possible predator. It could be a predator.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
especially an apex predator.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see what else is said here. I already know. See, Layla responded again. Oh, okay. She said she would stop and just listen. So that's cool.
All right.
Hmm.
We can never get her out of camp.
Yeah, Layla, he's picking on you, and I know she hears it too. So yeah. When you're sitting at camp, surrounded by others around the campfire, you're actually pretty well safe right there. Unless you have a bold rogue Sasquatch that wants to just come out and show himself.
Well, I told her she didn't have to leave the camp because after 11 o'clock, all that good stuff happened.
Well, you're right. She did get to experience all that, so that was awesome though that she did, and
Mm,
that it worked out that way. So,
yeah.
um, hmm, let's see. Hmm. Here's a question for everybody. This is it's a Bigfoot related question. The ECBRO, they have their annual ECBRO expedition coming up in the month of June in the state of Virginia. The ECBRO is throwing out an invite, but at the same time, Um, if I don't know you, or I try to scan people. I have other people that show interest, and I don't want to just allow anybody to come. But if it's somebody that that's familiar with me, knows me for a while, then I know you. Uh, I just want to throw out the invites out there for you. If you're able to make it, that's great. June 4th through the 11th, right here in Virginia. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm expecting a good time. We have a few locals that are planning on attending, so it may not be a big turnout, which that's fine because I don't like too many people. Um, but yeah, I'm just throwing the invite out there. If you're interested in joining a real expedition, a real honest Bigfoot expedition, come check out the ECBRO. And Fred, I'm sure during that time period, if we could go check out Fred's area if
Yeah.
he's willing to do that too.
Um,
So,
I'm having a camping trip come up here in the next couple months. On top of Bald Mountain at my other camp spot.
oh,
It's right in the middle of the mountains.
mm,
You're like an hour away from anywhere.
really?
Yeah.
Like, could you drive your vehicle into the? Is there a road that you could ride in there?
Yep, right up to the camp.
Ah,
But you got to be 4-wheel drive though.
ah. You have to show me this spot. This because see, that's kind of like where I've been camping.
It
I mean,
well, well, this is about an hour ride up on Bald Mountain,
mm, interesting.
and you're about that's about the halfway point. If you ride a motorcycle through there, you can make it in about a half an hour. But if you're in a jeep, you got to go slow, so it takes about an hour to get there.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this much: up there, we had 2 8-foot squatches following us away from the camp, and following us back to the camp. I set up a camera in the back of my vehicle, and I set a cooler with 2 cans of Coke and two Dr Pepper cans and a bag of potato chips.
Yeah.
Next morning, everything was gone. Oh, cool, man. Even
Yeah.
though the camera was sitting there, still don't know what got it.
Yeah.
And up in there, the big boys are up in there.
Mm. Yeah, I just had a response. Michael Price, I'm counting. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing you there, buddy. It's going to be awesome. And I can tell you this much, Fred. And and I know when you go out in the field, if you're camping or whatever you're doing, I mean,
Hmm.
you never know what to expect. You might not get nothing. There's a lot of times I don't get nothing,
Exactly.
but I'm going to tell you, every time I've had other people out there, maybe it's because the Squatches are curious or the way things are organized, because there's always some kind of activity that took place. I mean, like when I had the newspaper reporter and the photographer, when they were out there, when they were investigating, they wanted to join when they were doing the story. They came out,
Hmm.
uh, you know, they were in the one location and they had a rock thrown at them, and everybody was accounted for. They actually went back and spoke to one of their other individuals at the newspaper company, which is he is like a hardcore skeptic, like not even a believer, but yet he had enough curiosity in him to go check it out and to go back to that site. They drove all the way back out there just to investigate that location, and they try to talk it through. They try to debunk the whole situation, and they couldn't. And the thing is, they got that rock on film. If anyone's familiar with the newspaper link story article, that's on Facebook that I actually reposted that came from this past year. Um,
Yeah, I
if you go
finally
through
got
the
to read it.
yeah, if you go all the way through the article, there's actually at the very end of it, there is
Two
videos.
videos. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one where if it's I don't know, they did put one in there where they interviewed me by myself, and then there was another one that showed us out there in the woods,
Yeah.
and I can't remember the other one, but so but yeah, I just want to definitely throw it out there. That every time I've had other people with me, there's always something that has happened, regardless if it was an encounter or whatever. Um, but it's always I can't guarantee it every time. I don't know. Squatches are unpredictable. They definitely are. But
Well, like when
see.
y'all
Oh,
was,
and Rodney Fisher said, hold on.
well, it's like when y'all
Oh,
was
okay, hold on.
when y'all was behind
Yeah,
my
Rodney
camp.
said, I'm planning a week in my area for 5 days next week.
Hello, hello.
Rodney
I
said
think
he's going to be on the Tennessee, North Carolina, North Tennessee. I can't. I'm getting tongue tied. I
you
can't say
fro-
that. Tennessee, North Carolina line. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I kept interrupting you.
no, you froze on me for about 30 seconds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, oh, my bad. Did you not hear me?
No.
Oh, okay. Let me reread what I was sharing with you. Rodney Fisher said he's planning a week in his area for 5 days next week on the Tennessee North Carolina line. And I want to say that definitely keep us informed on any activity and definitely take pictures of any potential evidence that you may have come across. Definitely want to check that out. And that Rodney, if you're up for it, if you ever want to be a guest on the show on the podcast, definitely contact me. Let me know. Uh, we love getting individuals who have had Bigfoot experiences, and we love hearing their experiences and things that they find. We love comparing other people's findings and research with what we do, and that's why we share what we do, so other people can compare with what we do compared to what they do. So, but definitely keep us
There's one thing.
informed, Rodney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect. You might there is you find the same structures, but in each area, Squatch is not going to do the same as what the others did.
Yep.
It's different. Act
Yeah.
different.
Environment.
That's one thing you expect.
Right. It could be. Yeah.
Like in my
Everything.
like yeah, like in your area, throw rocks at you. My area, you might hear whoop tree knocker too. It's really hard to tell
Right.
what they're going to do, but they do not. They do. Yeah, basically do the same thing, but they do it differently.
Yeah.
But they, it's kind of odd though.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me do something here real quick. I did this earlier. I'm going to pull it back up. Uh, Share with the audience our upcoming podcast. And everybody right here, I go through these here. This is tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with Bobby Rich. Bobby Rich, right now, if you look him up on Facebook, you won't find him under his actual name. He's using Bono Russell's name. But you can find him on Facebook. But you will see him here tomorrow night. He's going to share his Bigfoot experiences with us, and we're going to go into a discussion with him. We could ask questions. I think that's going to be pretty entertaining to hear what he had to say. Um, See, like I said, that's tomorrow night. Here we go, Friday the 13th. I think this one here. I think this is the perfect, podcast show to have for Friday the 13th.
I,
Brian Forster, he's appeared and aired on Ancient Aliens on TV.
mm-hmm.
Right now, he's like very well involved. Him and his team are very well involved with the elongated skulls of Paracas in Peru and other areas, Bolivia. Uh, this gentleman here, he's been on numerous shows and radio shows, and we're gonna have him here Friday night. Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, that's gonna be an awesome show. there's some information that will be coming out in June. Just maybe we might be able to get some of that information out Friday night. Because that information that's going to be released in June is the DNA of the elongated skulls that they concluded that were not human. So, with that being said, you better watch. You better tune in 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I actually have the link shared. He has the link shared on his timeline. He's on Facebook. If you're not a friend of his on Facebook, you're not going to get to be a friend. You can follow him. But that gentleman actually has the maxed out friends for Facebook. Like I said, he has over 33,000 followers. So anything he posts, everybody that follows him sees it. So I don't know. I'm expecting a pretty good turnout Friday night. Feel free to share any of our links that you see posted. These are all scheduled podcast shows that I have through my YouTube channel, ECBRO98. So this is going to be an awesome show. You guys got to check this out. And for the record, I've said it several times before. When you're watching, we love your interaction through the live chat. I'm going to try my best to get to every question or most of it. I mean, so we got to allow the panel to ask questions, and I mean, I'm going to browse through. So just be patient through the live chat as we have our guests on. And here we have next Tuesday, May 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Kenneth Jalewski, anthropologist. Now, this gentleman here is a Bigfoot believer. Excuse me, let me record that. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to ask him ask him some Bigfoot questions because this gentleman is a Bigfoot knower from the information I have gathered, and I'm going to get more accurate information next Tuesday. But this gentleman here has claimed to have a Bigfoot experience, and he's an anthropologist. Okay, so I think that's pretty cool. I think we're going to be in for a great show right here. So everybody, definitely tune in and feel free to have your questions ready for these gentlemen. Right here, Michael Cook. Michael Cook is the founder of Kentucky Sasquatch Bigfoot. Excuse me, it's Kentucky Sasquatch Research Group. They're found on Facebook, and this Sunday, May 15th, he'll be live, and definitely tune in for him. We're going to get to know him. He's known in the Bigfoot community, and we're going to get to know him a lot further. We're going to definitely learn more about Kentucky Bigfoot. We've previously had Connie Fox through Fred Canny's podcast show, learning about her Bigfoot activity. We're going to learn more about Kentucky. We're going to, you know, we're one of the things that me and Fred have been working on is getting to know different researchers. Fred's been working on all the different researchers and the research and how they do the research across the country. I'm kind of doing something similar, but I want to learn what's going on the East Coast. That's where my study is on the East Coast. I want to know their behaviors. I want to know the patterns. Do they, what's the difference in each section of the East Coast from north to south? Right now, we're kind of working in Kentucky. Next we're going to get some North Carolina information, and so we're looking forward to some awesome shows here. We're going to learn a lot more about these individuals. And if you have any questions, have your questions ready for those shows. See, let me think. And I'm going to look at the live chat for a second because I'm seeing stuff pop up and I'm not keeping up yet. Here's a good question. Hey, Fred, I'll share my answer on this one, and you can share too.
Okay.
Rodney Fisher is asking, do you think they create temporary bedding areas or permanent?
Let me answer that one first.
Yeah, I'll let you take this one away. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've done found more temporary bedding areas in pine thickets, cedar thickets. A lot of places it's thick, they make temporary like day beds. They have a lot of day beds. Like a couple of years ago, I was in one area that I would. Matter of fact, it's the area that I videoed the family group in. I was looking for morel mushrooms, and I was leaning. I was in front of a tree, leaning down, picking up a mushroom, and a something hit the tree and landed in front of me. I picked it up. It was a morel mushroom stem, and I'm like, this right here is fresh. You can still see saliva on it. You know, it's still something just chewed on it. And I turned around. I looked up. I looked left. I looked right. Looked looked around behind me. Didn't see nothing. So I said, "All right, I'll come back the next day." I come back the next day, put my back against that tree, and took exactly 12 steps. And guess what I found? Two day beds. You could see they had took the brush, weaved it, and then they cleared out an area where you could see them. You could see where they were sliding in and out of the bed area, the day beds.
Mm.
Have, they do have temporary day beds.
Yeah, now there's something I'm going to share with you here shortly, Fred. But I'm going to go back to the live chat, and um, I agree with both what Michael Price said and Rodney Fisher goes on to say. Rodney Fisher, the same one who asked that question. He says, I also think they create fake ones to fool us. I have to agree with that. I believe that's very possible. Um, and and then Michael Price says he thinks they have both permanent and day beds. I mean, what would you say? Would you agree with that, Fred?
Well, yeah, they do have permanent beds. You know that the clan sleeps at nighttime. You know, but
Right.
they do have like they're out foraging. You know, and they get tired. You know, and they're in there. They will make a temporary day bed. As far as a
Yeah.
permanent place, if they're living, they have a permanent place. You know, but in my
Yeah.
situation, they travel up and down the Blues Park and going into summer. Yeah, they stay in the area, permanent place, like a condo. You know.
Okay. Yeah. Do you remember back in 2013? That camp area we camped at, where we got whooped out right there at camp. Well, earlier that day, do you remember we came back walking around down off that ridge we hiked? We saw that teepee
Yeah,
structure. Then we came out of the woods into that real thick grassy area, and
found it
all the
temper. We
vegetation.
found it. Yeah, we
Yep,
bed
those big you follow. Yeah, those tracks, those big tracks led to that bed area right there. Yeah,
into
if you
a
remember,
thicket, and
yeah, and it was
it
well.
was wide open in the middle.
Yeah, that thing was huge, and it was definitely well worn out. And for those viewing, if you're wondering what we're talking about, I have that on video. It's one of my back. It's go through my video archives. It's Bigfoot evidence or Bigfoot findings of the ECBRO, or I can't remember exactly how I title it, but it's from 2013, and it's on the YouTube channel ECBRO 98. So definitely check that out. All right. Um, Let me see something. There was something else I saw. Um, okay. Oh, here's another one. Oh, and before I read this next one, Lael, if you're watching, could you give your son tacos? Your son is commenting on the live chat again. He said nobody's giving me tacos. That's Lael's son for you. He's commenting under Lael's name too. All right, hold on. All right, just bear with me, Fred. It might just be you again because I think everyone else is hearing me though. Let's see. Okay, here's a question, Fred. How do you think they control their young from calling out?
Would you
All right,
say?
all right. How do you think they control their young from calling out? Like as far as like if they call out, you, I don't know. I mean, I'm just reading the question how it's put. How do you think they control their young from calling out?
Wait a minute. Um, Control their young
Yeah.
when they're from what I've noticed, when they're babies, up to about I'm gonna use human babies because no one really ever knows the ages of a Squatch anyway. I've noticed
Right.
that the females will keep the young with them, I say for about a year. Then after that, I think that they start wandering further away, and they got a day watcher who watches them. Like when I get the juveniles around me, like in behind the apple orchard, there's a they're about they're average they're about 3 foot tall, so
Yeah.
they're being watched, But like I tell
Yeah.
people, the juveniles are at their finest when they try to hide, but they screw up and they give the location away by letting you see them, without them, and they don't realize it. So uh, as they get older, they're trained to be independent. Like if you have a male, female, and a baby, like the baby's old enough to walk, follow the group or something like that. That the
Yeah.
male will grab him something, the female will have to grab her something, and then the baby will have to learn to feed on its own if the mother doesn't help or the male doesn't help. So that's what I've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Michael Price mentions, he said, and I feel it's safe to agree with him on this, that their primate instincts kick in when it's like they know when to be vocal to
Exactly.
communicate, and they know when not to. So, and that makes a lot
Exactly.
of sense. Um, Meanwhile, Layla commented she's gonna go beat her son. Well,
Yeah.
Layla, give him some tacos.
Yeah.
He
Well,
wants tacos.
I mean, far as the far as like you say, the primal instinct. I've had them around me, and I've heard a like good example when I walked around the corner one day. I got three loud knocks. I didn't hear no vocal, but I heard three loud knocks about 30 foot to my left. I turned around for a second, but I turned back around real quick, and that's when I caught two girl female squatches running from right to left. So yeah, they do. There is certain things that they do to warn the younger ones about. If
Yeah.
it ain't vocal, it's a tree knock. Like both times, squatches. First time they were following me from the back of Kennedy Fields on up to the front. They got in front of me, and when I started up that trail, I heard bang, 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 and all of a sudden I heard elephants running. Then when I went around the back corner of that orchard, I heard bang, 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 and then those two squatches come from right to left, running from there toward Mill Creek Road over in that pine thicket.
Right.
So they do have warning.
Hmm.
They do have warning signs that they do follow. It's like a protocol, if you call it that.
Right. Hmm. All right.
And that's
I was just on Facebook checking messages.
yeah, and that's one of the primal instincts. As they get older, you'll hear them. Yeah, I think you'll start hearing them this coming summer. You'll start hearing some odd sounds from the young ones. Like in the evening times. Like in the middle of the day. Like I'm in Apple Orchard, right? I'm in the wooded part, and I hear one juvenile try to imitate a blue jay. Then I heard another one
Right.
15 minutes later try to imitate an owl. And it's them, and you know where they're at because they give the location away. Plus, they are practicing their calls, their animal sounds, their sounds. That's what they do. That's what they got to. That's how they train the young ones. Basically, you need to learn this
Right.
to survive. Basically, and that's what people need to learn. When they go out in the woods, listen to the wildlife, listen to the birds. Birds make a particular note. Doves make a particular note that a squatch can't hit. I've heard blue jays and I've heard squatches do blue jays. They sound the same, but yet they're different. It's just you just got to know what to listen for and everything. That's something else people need to learn. But as far but as far as juveniles go, they do a lot of things, and it's part of their training, and people don't realize what they,
Right.
if you're out there, you hear something odd, most people say like, "Damn, that bird sounds like he's got laryngitis or something," It's all, so
Hmm.
how people deceive it.
Um, let's see. Okay, I see a lot of stuff on the live chat, but it's kind of a conversation between each of the viewers right now.
Yeah.
But tell you what, for the next we got we're gonna stay on air for the next 20 minutes. We're gonna leave at 10 o'clock. And the discussion is not over. Um, if you guys have questions, anything you want to know our opinions on, or anything that we've experienced, perhaps, again, continue questioning. I'm watching the live chat. We'll get a lot of active viewers. And oh, wait a minute. Here we go. We got another one. Rodney Fisher. He's asking, do y'all think they throw their voice like panthers are claimed to be able to? All right, hold on. Let me look at that. Make sure I read that right. All right, Rodney. I want to believe. I think I know what you're asking. Could you be a little bit more specific?
You mean like throwing their voice?
Like a panther are claimed to be able to. Which, yeah, he says, do you think they can throw their voice like panthers are claimed to be able to?
A, a panther will put their head to the ground and turn it sideways.
While they're on the prowl, while they're stalking their prey, kind of like in a stealth mode.
Right, but when they put their
Yeah.
head down and it sounds like it's like further up.
Now, one thing I could say about this, and one thing I know about panthers, cougars, lions, mountain lions, etc., they use a guttural sound that's in a form of infrasound that we may not hear. But this is a tactic that panthers use, which I believe the squatches could do the same thing. I do believe they can. I have not experienced it, but I believe it's very possible. And I'll explain it like this. When a mountain lion, even lions in the jungle in Africa, and same thing with panthers, cougars, etc., they use an infrasound. It's a type of guttural growl that they put out that's heard through infrasound, which it causes and creates their prey to be in a state of being froze, stunned in their tracks, so they can't move, and it actually allows them to make that attack on their prey. And I believe this is very possible with what the squatches do, especially when they're going after a deer or elk, etc. Um, now the other question is, he said, okay, oh, that's not a question. Michael Price says, I think they make noises that sound like a panther. Which, do you think that's possible, Fred? That yeah, like kind of like a guttural growl, or maybe an imitation of a panther. Period. Do you think that's possible?
What was the question? You were breaking up.
Okay, I'll repeat that. Because I think the viewers are hearing me. Uh, viewers, I need to let's find out. Viewers, real quick off the topic. Are you guys hearing me okay? Am I breaking up any at all? So just curious because I don't know. Because if I'm breaking up, I don't know. I can't tell if I'm breaking up. Fred's saying I am, but usually we found out the other night it was just him. uh, okay, Fred's messaging me through the podcast and he can't hear nothing I'm saying because it's breaking up real bad. So if anyone on the live chat or the viewers, please let me know if you can hear me. I'm watching the live chat. I'm not sure what that meant right there. But as far as talking about the mountain lions and tigers and all that, um, Yeah, Nincompoop said like a supercharged purr. Which yeah, that makes sense. I could believe that. Everybody's saying they hear me fine. Could you guys hear Fred okay? Okay. I'm not seeing that new, but yeah, I hear everyone says I can hear you fine. Blah blah blah. Mm, Nincompoop just said maybe a rare breakup, but that's about it. Huh. Let's see. Let's see what Lael's saying. Yeah. Lael said we both break up a little bit, but it's not bad on this end. So, all right. Fred just said he's gonna leave and come back out. See if that helps any. All right. All right. So Fred just left. Fred will be right back. Fred had the issue the other day. He was saying everyone was breaking up when we were all talking, but come to find out, it was just actually him. So, but he's gonna come right back on. Sometimes that helps by leaving the podcast and jumping back in. So, but yeah, I agree with everyone with what they were saying about the sound of the panther or cougar mountain lion, and the comparison to if a squatch could do it or not
Okay, now,
is very possible. Is very possible.
now,
And I hear you, Fred.
now, what was the question?
All right, let me go back. All right, do you think they could throw their voice like a panther or referring to a squatch? And then they go on. Michael Price says I go on to say I think they make noises like a sound of a panther. But what I was saying earlier, I don't know if you heard me, but I was saying how a mountain lion uses infrasound, which is a type of that's not really heard, but it's felt through felt through their prey.
Like
Which is
like a Siamese cat. They could be it could be a bird outside, and they could be inside, and they could throw the infrasound bird drop to the ground.
hmm, which yeah, that makes sense. Um,
But yeah,
Interesting.
Squatch is full grown. I mean, I've been hit by ultrasound or infrasound. I've heard Paul Halsley voices when he said he called it infrasound. I think it was. I'm not sure.
Right.
We heard when I said y'all stole my jars, he picked up uh-huh. And when I said where y'all at, they said we're here. And then 2 minutes later I videoed a family group, yeah, I believe they can do both because I believe when they get to a certain age, they they don't learn, they're very intelligent, so I believe they can do it.
Right.
It's like second nature. And I believe I've heard, they can imitate anything they want, that is in that they were raised around, like birds, squirrels, deer. Like there's a certain thing a deer would do when he's looking for a doe. He'll do a stomach growl,
Yeah.
and it's only in the stomach. Now Squatch can imitate that to draw a deer in.
Hmm.
I've noticed that. You know,
Okay.
well, when you as much as I am, and you learn a lot of stuff.
Right.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more that I know that I'm actually telling. Because I don't want people to think I'm really going off the deep end.
Right. Right. Let me try something here real quick.
Oh,
Hold
she
on.
just hit a deer.
What happened?
Oh, I'm sitting there watching a female cop just hit a deer. She about had a heart attack.
Hmm. Uh, hold on. Layla made a comment here. Let's see what she said. Let me get this out of the way here. Let's see. Okay, well, Layla said we've talked about people hearing your mom's call, their names, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Um, so like, yeah, I think that was referring to the other thing about the. Let me go back on the live chat for a second.
Paranormal.
Let's
Spirits.
see.
Spirits.
Oh yeah, I think this is referring to how do you all think they control their young from when they call out?
Yoo-hoo!
So yeah, I mean, I think it could be. I'm not sure how to come out on that one. I mean, how do they control? I don't know. Like Michael Price has stated, I think it's more of an instinct, like how they, how they do make calls. I mean, it's something that's like a human child to their mother. I mean, sometimes I don't think, depending on the age of the child, a child might cry and scream and throw a tantrum. Sometimes it's not always controlled till they get older, till you learn, till they understanding. I mean, it all comes from training. Is my opinion on that. Um, hold on, I got another person comment here. Uh-oh, it's one of those funky links again. Well, everybody watch out for whoever James Hill is. He's posted one of those virus links again. I don't know, and this person ain't even on my friends list. He's two mutual friends, Jeff O'Laughlin and Vic Condiff. I don't know. Oh, he's one of those spammers. He's got Ray-Ban sunglasses all over his thing, and he's posting spam porn sites and stuff on stupid comments. Yeah, I hate that crap. I don't see how people could post stuff. That dumb media posting stuff in Bigfoot groups. How the hell? Yeah, people, you got to watch out for these spammers. You got to block them. They post stuff in forums on your page, and they don't. You can have your privacy settings. Somehow they still get through. They're very idiotic. I wish I could go punch some of them in the face. But Layla was actually talking about, no, as far as the talking and the calling out. Oh no, hold on. I think yeah, what Layla was saying, they're actually talking about mimicking, and yeah, mimicking different birds and stuff. If that's the topic she's referring to. Oh, Fred, you just came back. I didn't realize till a second ago you were not there because I was actually
Yeah,
reading stuff.
that's the only way I can hear you because after about 5 minutes, man, you start breaking up.
Oh,
I think my
yeah, it may be on. I think it may be on your end. Yeah, you might have to update or reboot your system, like I do sometimes, because nothing work if I don't reboot my system.
Yeah,
So
she rebooted the main computer, but I don't think she rebooted the laptop yet.
yeah, that's what I have to do. My laptop, yes. Sometimes they need a refreshment or reboot, or sometimes you need to reset everything to the default. And sometimes when you reset stuff, it clears a lot of stuff out. Any kind of junk that might have got into your system to affect audio or performance and stuff like that. That's why it took me so long to get this started tonight, is because I had to update my Abode Flash player. I have the software. It's not junk software. It's software that I actually paid for professionally. Um, it does a scan and then it does a clean and it actually helped. It does work, but the thing is, I'm not paying a lot of extra money for them to remove the other stuff that's still affecting my computer. When I get around to it, I have an individual at work who will help me on that. It's what he went to college for. But yeah, basically, you go to some place, they charge $200-300 just for you just to remove certain junk out of your computer. When I could have that done for free, I just need to bring my laptop into work with me one day. So, Let me see. I'm looking back at the live chat now because we got just a few minutes left. Okay, wait a minute. I'm trying to make sense of some of this stuff here because I'm kind of. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a good question. All right, Fred. I'm gonna leave this one up to you.
All right.
How do you think they hide their scat?
They take it while they dump while they're walking, and it gets mixed up in the soil, mixed up in the leaves
So
and stuff. That's why you never find a scat pile because they take a dump while
yeah,
they're walking.
my opinion is now I believe, or this is my opinion. Opinion, I mean, we don't know. This is something I haven't observed, but this is my honest opinion. I believe perhaps they have designated areas, almost like a bathroom, maybe, where there's a possibility where they use a certain area just to do this in. Like there's certain areas they come and go throughout the day and the evenings. So perhaps there's a certain location where they do this in, and bear like even though I compare them to bears, this is one thing I'm not going to compare it to bears. Bears don't care where they go. I see their scat everywhere. Bear scat, because I see it in all different forms and shapes and sizes. Um, but yeah, Steve just said that they may cover it up like a cat. Very good possibility. That's a good question. Um, but yeah, I believe they may use a certain area to do their business in, and I agree with what Steve said. He thinks that they cover it up like a cat. My opinion. But then again, it's something we haven't observed, so it's kind of hard to really state on that. But that's actually a good question. Interesting. Perhaps we might get lucky and see something like that happen. And Rodney Fisher, you asked another great question. This is something we spoke on in podcasts before, and I actually shared this my theory and my honest opinion in my book I established a couple years ago. And the question is, do they bury their dead? I'm going to say yes, and I because bears pretty much kind of do the same thing. There's a lot of different species that do this. I believe some people believe they may be cannibalistic and eat their dead, but we don't know that. But as far as burying, if we look and relate to the known primates that we have in the world, our known primates do this. And this is known among primates. Our known primates will actually also, when one of their members die, there's one of their members around and mourn. Sometimes they'll carry them with them and then sometimes they'll just leave them and let them go somewhere and just drop them off. But that's not always the case. Sometimes there's a group of them that gather together and they will mourn over them. They'll use sticks and other debris. I'm not sure about rock, but they do use like debris from the forest and stuff to cover their dead, grass and sticks. Um, so yeah, I believe it's very possible. And then on top of that, if other scavengers get in there and smell the dead bodies, scavengers get in there and eat, and then of course, I will say this: their bones. A lot of primates, their bones decompose very easily, especially in the jungles and stuff where the rain and the soil is very acidic. It breaks down in the where in areas where the forest and where the soil is very acidic. That's I don't care what animal is, but the bones will break down. But a primate's bones are more fragile and they are more apt to break down and actually decompose to the point of non-existence. Um, there has been primate fossils found, of course, but in the rainforest, their bones have a very low chance of survival. through a period of time because their bones break down in the acidic soils. So this is a good theory and why I believe why a lot of remains are not found. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. So, uh, have they heard them crying out like in pain? Um, have we heard them crying out like in pain? Fred, that's kind of like the experience that me and you had together. We heard, I don't know if it was in pain, but it was that juvenile was definitely moaning, crying. It was either in pain or feeling sorrow, like he was
I
alone
think it.
or needed
I
help. Me and Fred
I
actually
think it was.
experienced that before, so which was
I think it was scared or something. You know.
yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, Michael Price, you're absolutely right. They do. It's been observed that they do as far as they do have emotions. They're very well known for expression. They have a lot of emotions they express through a lot of its facial expressions, sounds, so forth. But yeah, they're very emotional animals. They are. Um, yeah, grieving. Yeah, they grieve by mourning. They grieve by it's almost like when we give a moment of silence. But as far as the grieving, like what I said a little while ago, it is stated and it is fact that our known primates will carry their dead with them for. Um, but those are good questions. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry it is that last moment, but right now I'm going to ask Fred. Fred, do you have any last words you want to share? All right, Fred said he has a hard time hearing me. So, um,
Dum. When you go out to go squatching, keep listen to nature, listen to the birds, listen to the deer. Watch if you see a deer and there's a squatch around, watch his ears, watch his body movement. You know they're there. Just use common sense. Don't go looking for them. They will come looking for you when you hit the woods.
yep,
Simple
absolutely.
as it can go.
Okay, and with that being said, I want to thank all our viewers, and I know you guys seen the screen shares of our upcoming podcast shows tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, we have Bobby Rich. We have Bobby Rich from California. He's going to share some Bigfoot experiences with us, and I'm looking forward to that. I hope you all are too. Um, and then Friday the 13th, we have Brian Forrester, and I am so looking forward to that. I'm sure all of you are too. Um, and if you have not done so, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I'm going to tell you why you should subscribe to our YouTube channel because a lot of you are not on Facebook with me. When I post and share the link, I try to share it on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Daniel Benoit, Benoit, is ECBRO on Twitter. I'll share the link on there again. I already have shared there. I have shared on Facebook, on social media. So definitely check that out. Subscribe to me because once I go live on air, you'll get the notification. That's another reason why you want to subscribe, and that way you get a chance to go through my archives and watch videos that you missed. Um, Before, please feel free to give us a like. We have a fan page on Facebook of the ECBRO. Like our Facebook page and go ahead and share it. Help us spread awareness of who we are and what we do. Anywhere from our podcast shows to our research, I share a lot of research, a lot of findings, and that's about it. I want to thank you guys again. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hope to see you guys again soon. And anytime I'm live, man, do what you guys have been doing on the live chat. You guys have been great tonight, and that's what we're looking forward to. So Thanks again.